How's it going? Got a big Call of Duty packed episode here. First off, before we start diving into that, here at Gaming After Work, we'd like to extend a welcome to the homie Ethan, who is going to step in and give us his 2 cents and whatnot on the Call of Duty BR Warzone. Did you want to take a second? Did you want to shout out your handle or Twitter handle or anything like that, Ethan?
That's all right.
Put
That's
you on the
right.
spot.
We'll stay a
All
little,
right.
stay a little off the radar for now.
All right. I mean, hey, figured I'd offer, but otherwise we have the normal cast here. Got Billy and Wade and myself here.
Yo, yo.
First, we're gonna start off with the little itty bitty stuff that we can just breeze on by, and then we'll get to the Call of Duty stuff. So I'm pretty sure that's the main reason why you're here. Um, First thing we got on the docket is E3 has officially canceled. Now, the reason why I had this as a point of topic is E3 has been on the decline. And what I mean by on the decline is developers, companies, and even people have just recently just been stopped going. Like their attendance has been dropping. Developers have been dropping. So with this official cancel, do you think this could be like the icing on the cake to where E3 officially dies and it just stays with their own type of gaming convention, if you will?
Yes, sir. I think so. It's just more. It's just too expensive for developers to keep coming out there and kind of just get people excited, but not like actually give us something to play. I don't know, but I think we're gonna go separate ways. Everyone's gonna have their own like con or event or something.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, because I know Sony's is going to be coming up here in the springtime. I'm already drawing a blank on it, and Microsoft is going to be having theirs soon if they haven't had it already. I don't even. Do they have theirs already?
I think they did. I think it was like a month or so back, 2 months.
Yeah, and then Nintendo is working on a you know how they have like they had their Nintendo Treehouse for E3. They're gonna try to make that their own attraction convention, if you will. So there hasn't been any news in regarding if they're gonna have that anytime soon. But that's the idea concept for Nintendo right now. They want people to still be able to have hands on for their consoles and their games and whatnot, which I think is pretty cool.
For sure.
But yeah, no, this, we had the idea of, maybe we should go to E3. It ain't looking too good, gentlemen.
Yeah, sad day.
It's not looking too good.
Nope.
Well, overall, I think the main problem is that it's just getting too expensive for developers to go.
Yeah.
I was reading a couple weeks back that it costs a developer to get a booth, just a small booth. If they get 4/5 of every single person who goes to E3 into their booth, like to come into their booth and see their product, it would cost them $200 per person.
Yikes.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah. Wow.
Not just for the hey, it's insane. Like you could
That's
put that
crazy.
money into so much better advertising than
Yeah.
trying to get people into your booth at E3.
Wow. I didn't know it was like that. That shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you know what that means for us is now we have to either pick one, two, or go to all three. So we'll have to figure that out. But next, we had a couple major titles, is what I'm going to call them, that got released last week. We have Animal Crossing New Horizon and Doom Eternal. I'm not missing any, am I?
Nope.
Nope.
Nothing
Okay.
huge.
So just did anybody buy these at all?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Definitely
Nope.
super
Same
tempted
here.
to buy Doom. From everything
Okay.
I've heard, it is an incredible game, but
Yeah.
haven't purchased anything yet.
I bought Animal Crossing. I thought about slept on it and I returned it. I was like, I'll pass. I'll pass. I'll wait till I pre-owned or something where if I don't like it I can return it after opening it. Um
Yeah.
uh did any of you guys like go on YouTube or anything like that, look at anybody who had like pre-gameplay or anything like that?
Yeah.
I know you kind of said something about liking the gameplay way, didn't you?
No, I said the exact opposite actually. I thought the gameplay was a snooze fest of.
Oh.
Okay. We're not talking about Animal Crossing. Sorry, Doom.
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
no, 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 no,
Doom is a
Doom.
great game.
No, not Animal. Yeah, okay. Doom, yeah. My bad. That was my bad for not clarifying. For
Yeah,
Doom.
Doom looks amazing. I most of my gameplay that I've watched is people like Shroud and other really good PC gamers who are able to
Yeah.
fly around and hit headshots and just
Mm-hmm.
are nuts at the game in general, just because they're nuts overall. But um, yeah, from what I've seen, it looks like a lot of fun. Definitely a game I'm gonna pick up later down the road here.
Bet.
Yeah, do you have anything you want to say on that, Bill?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Wade. Like when my games die down, because they always do, because Destiny main over here, it'll get
Mm-hmm.
stale. So I'll probably pick it up, but I'll probably do a one playthrough, beat it, say I like it, and then not touch it again.
Nice. Yeah, because I watched a little bit on both. Animal Crossing kind of it turned me off. The big thing that I heard from a lot of different people was it was grindy, and that's a key word for a game I'm not familiar with that I don't want to hear. So I'll pass on that. Doom Eternal, I did hear was a lot of jumpy, like a lot of jump firing, which that's not it's not normal and not something you shouldn't be, um, I guess, associated with a fast paced, glorified game like Doom. So um, I hear a lot more better things from Doom than I hear about Animal Crossing right now. They're two different titles, so I can't really hold that against Animal Crossing. So we'll wait till one of us gets these to talk about it later.
Yeah, for sure.
So next we have our Twitter questions. So we're kind of starting up a new thing where at least between 1 or 2 3-ish days we'll have a question on our Twitter page and let the community um, answer the questions, and we'll see where everybody stands, and then we'll reflect on that and see how we stand. So the first question that we had was it's kind of directed towards PC, but I guess I probably should have alternated the question, but whatever. I digress. If you are buying PC parts, RAM, a hard drive, yada yada yada, well, what would be your preferred way to buy them? Would it be in person or online? We had 34 people answer. Um, Out of the two questions, 35% chose in person and 65% chose online. So the majority said online. Billy, do you agree with that?
Yes, because convenience. There's just so many sites, and there's also sites that do a lot of discounting, so it's just nice that way. But also it's easier, I guess, sometimes if you're like in the area in person, because then it's not gonna get like messed up in the mail or something. So it's my 2 cents.
Nice, nice.
I
Yeah,
would agree. I would agree with Bill. For the most part, I think as somebody who has never bought a PC before, I would turn to online right away. Especially like most people are probably going to do a lot of pre-built stuff anyways. Um, and I feel like a lot of the like huge PC companies that people might know about are online based, I suppose. So that's where I would turn to.
Okay.
yeah, I definitely would go default online. But as someone who works in retail, you really can't beat the experience of like going into a store and seeing what the product is.
Yep.
and being able to look at everything and compare things. So definitely do my research online, do my looking into whatever online or in person, sorry, and then buy my products online would be the way I'd go.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Can be a double-sided answer just because it is better to look at what you want to pay for, and then when you actually find what you like, to buy it online, because Newegg and all those other sites like that, majority of them will have cashback options or reimbursement options that you can take advantage of. Which, why not? If you're gonna buy, a $300 graphics card or whatever, and you get some money back, why not? Who doesn't like their money back?
True.
So I would agree with the community here and say online. Next question. Recently, the PS5 specs just got officially released. No more leaks. And now that we heard all of the PS5 specs, what side are you leaning towards now? The PS5 side, the Xbox Series X side, or you don't care because you own a PC? Now, 35% went with Xbox Series X, 41% went PS5, and 24% went with they don't care, they have a PC. Do you agree with the community?
I would say PS5 is my choice because I grew up on PlayStations. It's just sort of my home system, and because of the type of gamer that I am, where I'm not super, focused on the specs of my system, and I'm just here to, game with my buddies and have a good time. It's not really that dependent on the specs of the system when they're not that drastically different. All a casual person is going to expect is improvements from one system to the next, and that's what we got out of both of them. So wherever your homies are is probably where most people are going to end up.
Yeah, I agree.
True on that. I'm in that 24%. I said I own a PC, so I'll probably get the PS5 just because of all my homies are gonna be on that, and I don't know how much crossplay is gonna be a thing. Like, I know some games right now are crossplay, but we don't know how in depth they're gonna go on that. So I'm gonna still stick with that. I own a PC.
And I'm gonna go the Xbox route. Just the pure power of it. The fact that we're as an Xbox player right now, it's really cool that they're pushing for something that's gonna compete with the PCs, the PC players, the PC builds out there. Something really cool is like ray tracing is coming to PC or coming to the new Xbox, which I think is going to be a really big pull for a lot of people. But in the end, I do think people are still gonna go for the thing that their homies have. Right? They're gonna stick with their friends, which I completely understand.
Yep, yep. Well, coming from me, my dumb ass will probably buy them both. So
Yikes.
I got them both now, so I'll probably be one of the suckers that gets both of them. But just looking at it from the question, the spec side, I would have to lean on the Xbox Series X side, just slightly. There's a few more specs that I like a little bit more than I like on the PS5 side. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go against the community on this one. Now, the last question, it's a little bit premature. Um, this is just um, off of our um, base here. So we even said that in the question. So we know it's super early in the year to ask this, but which game will win Game of the Year? Cyberpunk 2077 or Last of Us Part 2? 20 people answered. 35% chose Cyberpunk 2077 and 65% chose The Last of Us. Um, how are we feeling about that?
I'm not surprised by the poll results because I think The Last of Us has a better base to go off of as far as popularity, obviously. CD Projekt Red has done some good work, but not what The Last of Us did. So, based on the poll, I would say the community is going to lean towards Last of Us, but personally, I think Cyberpunk has a lot more to offer than just the story itself. with all of the different types of customization and choice making and all of that stuff that they've shown in trailers and pre-alpha gameplays and stuff. So I'm gonna lean towards Cyberpunk.
I'm gonna be opposite. I'm just gonna lean towards Last of Us because as story games usually win Game of the Year just because of just how attached people get to it. Like Cyberpunk is probably gonna be a phenomenal game. Still, probably has a great story. We're gonna have great mechanics, but I just think Last of Us is just gonna pull it a little bit further.
I'm gonna call an audible and say Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is gonna take it. Anyone?
Yeah.
That's way out of
Um,
left field.
no, I'm actually really excited for Cyberpunk. Just because, I mean, it same creators as like The Witcher. Um, so I don't know. There's a lot of confidence going into it. I want to get overhyped for something that might suck the major poo poo.
No Man's Sky.
No man.
Sorry, I sneezed.
But
Yeah.
we will definitely have to see because I mean, we could all get hyped and then get our expectations crushed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely voting for Cyberpunk. But like Billy said, story games usually take it.
So yeah, me personally, I still mainly because they already have a foundation. And normally when you have a foundation, you have an expectation. And specifically with story mode games, the next step or the next generation of the game tends to be either better or close to what the first one was, at least in my experience. Um, I will say this: the only way Cyberpunk 2077 will be better is if Keanu Reeves is 100% a playable character. That's just me. And his dialogue has to say, "No, you're breathtaking," every time. That's got to be a play. That's got to be a playable dialogue every time. But no, for this one, I'm gonna go Last of Us Part Two. As other games come out, I'm pretty sure this might change or there'll be more to the list. So we'll definitely come back to that question later on. And now the moment that the homies have been waiting for here. We're gonna talk about Warzone now. So,
Ooh,
guys,
baby.
um, I'm gonna shoot some stuff out to you. Whatever comes out, just let it out. Don't hold back. Let it out. All right, Ethan, we're gonna start with you. So, if you could give your first impressions of Warzone in one word, what would that one word be?
Ooh, you really did put me on a spot. One word.
Yeah, one word. What do you got?
I mean, just to keep it, decently basic, I'll say something along the lines of, phenomenal.
Okay.
I just think it's got a lot to offer, a lot of room to grow, and the player base is there to show that same sort of thing. So I think it's
I
doing well.
like it. Nice.
I would have to say great. It's definitely the step in the right direction. I slowly start playing it more and more every day, so I'm gonna stick with the word great.
I've even had all this time to. Sorry, I've had all this time to think, and I still have no idea what to say.
Yeah.
One word. Oof.
Yeah. Pull it out of your
Killer.
ass. Just pull it. Just pull it.
It's a killer. You can do it.
Come
on,
Come on, big guy.
You can be like Kanye West and say it's amazing.
Intense. There's my word.
I like it. There you go.
No. A lot of fun, but it's hard. It is really hard. But that's what makes it fun, right?
No, for sure. The word I'm going to use is impressive. I like that Warzone actually gives you a fighting chance to get back into it with yourself rather than Fortnite, PUBG, Apex, where you have to have somebody revive you. Or if you don't, you're pretty much dead. You're sitting there watching everybody, and then you tend to do something else. You get bored of it. So I like that you actually get to go into the gulag. Is it gulag, right?
That's how
Mhm.
I say it.
Gulag.
That's how I say it.
I always think I'm saying goulash. Anyways, gulag, and you actually can fight to get back in, which I think is great. Um, and there's always money scattered around. So if you don't end up making it out of there, within at least 5 minutes, you can get rezzed back into the game. So I
Mhm.
think the innovation for that is pretty impressive. That no one else thought of doing that, and they were actually to take something that nobody is doing right now and put it in theirs and make it um, not seem too crazy or too far fetched. They made it. I feel like they made it just right. So I like that. I thought it was impressive. Next question we got. This one's pretty simple. Are you playing Warzone more, or are you playing?
Definitely Warzone.
For sure, Warzone.
Warzone by far.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even think I don't think I've loaded into the multiplayer screen since it's out. So I'm gonna agree with everyone else. Okay, so this one may take a little bit more time. So feel free. Is there something right now, being that this is the first part of the BR being out? Is there something right now that's going on that frustrates you?
Um, the forced crossplay is introducing a lot of problems with hackers in a lot of lobbies.
Mm-hmm.
I personally ran into my first case of it last night that I caught and saw, but I've seen all over Twitter and stuff like that there's people who are aimbotting and wall hacking and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's probably the biggest glaring issue from like a game breaking standpoint.
Um,
Yeah, go on. What
I
do you
have
got
to
to think?
agree. I have to agree that the hackers are bad. But as a gameplay standpoint, um, the game revolves around money, right? So like you go and you open crates for money and you do this and that all for cash.
Yep.
Um, and the current balancing of the economy of that cash is a little bit off. Um, it's really, really easy to say like buy a teammate back
Mm-hmm.
because like you get into a fight, a teammate dies, but you guys win the fight. The likelihood that that team that you killed has enough money to buy back your teammate is really high. So I've seen games where you can buy back a teammate 5 or 6 times within one 25-minute game. Um, as well as like loadout kits. You get your loadout kits almost immediately because they're so
Yep.
cheap,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of takes looting and like the guns you find on the ground and makes them completely worthless. So I think a little bit of rebalance that, maybe less money spawns around the world. Um, I think that would be definitely a good change.
I could agree with all those.
Yep. No, for sure.
Sounds good. I would just say there's no protection when you go down, because in most games when you go down you have like a second or two of not being able to like take damage, but in this game like you go down and they're just still mowing your ass down and you're dead. Like they
Hmm.
like everyone runs at least like a 50 or the 60 round mag in every AR, and they're just mowing you down, and then they keep going, and there's no like protection, like because like Fortnite has it, Apex has like I think like Apex has like 2 or 3 seconds. Fortnite
Plus,
has yeah
plus the shield.
yeah plus the shield. So it's just I just think that's my biggest frustration is just like they just mow me down. Like I'm not the greatest player, but like I want a little bit of a fighting chance to get around a corner to have like Ethan bail me out by like it's no scoping a kid or something. But definitely the thirsting is my biggest frustration right now.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Sam?
Mine is I think there needs to be um penalty for DCing. That's probably the biggest thing is you load into a trios game and you're down one person, so now you're the one team of two that's going up against every other team that has three, so you're already at a heavy disadvantage, which doesn't make it fun because 9 times out of 10, three guns shooting at two guns, the three guns are going to do more damage. Am I right?
For sure.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Kind of feel like the numbers don't lie, so we should prevent people from doing that. They're making the decision to go in this single to get paired up with other people, whether it's two more people that are playing singles or two people that are in a group of two. So why should we get penalized for some asshole who wants to jump in and then get pissed off because we didn't jump to the spot he wanted to jump, so he DCs?
True. I've had
So
to show you something.
that's just a little frustrating. I wish there's some sort of penalty for that.
Yeah, that'll definitely get alleviated
Mhm.
when they add stuff like duos. They've been talking about adding stuff like 4 and 5, 6-man squad, which is
Ooh.
kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Damn.
that sounds interesting.
I just hope the game is popular enough to keep stable servers across that many different game modes.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Because go ahead, Tim.
I was didn't even ask you, do they have dedicated servers?
Unknown.
Yeah, they say they do, and then sometimes they work and don't, and I don't know. Call of
If
Duty's
he-
just sort of had this underlying blanket of lies where like the patch notes aren't right and skill-based
Yeah.
matchmaking isn't in according to the devs, and then you play on a Smurf and you're absolutely destroying, go back to your account and you're getting smoked. Like, I don't know. So
Yeah.
Call of Duty's just sort of in this place where it's becoming so big and the player base is so widespread in the skill department that they've done so many things to lessen the load on the people who aren't that great. And I don't know. I don't think they are very truthful about a lot of the things that happen with the game behind the scenes.
Okay. No, I mean, they need to get their shit together if they want to stay relevant, for sure.
True.
So the next thing we got, just out of curiosity, has anybody found any game-breaking tech yet? 'Cause I know there was some stuff on Twitter and some stuff about some game-breaking stuff, and I wouldn't call hackers game-breaking for this question, or anything like that. But has anybody found anything?
No. I haven't.
I found a glitch in downtown area where you could like parachute through a wall and get under the map, but you couldn't really go anywhere, so it wasn't actually useful.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool though. Like kind of harks back to the old like Modern Warfare, old Call of Duty days where you just spend hours just getting into glitch spots and screwing around.
Could you
Oh.
see anybody or anything?
Yeah, you could fully see under the map.
Oh
Oh.
wow.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not good. But like you could only walk like a block in either direction, and it was only on a single line. Like you couldn't.
Oh, so you were soft locked. So if you got in there,
Yeah.
you were pretty much locked.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad.
So overall, it wasn't bad.
Ethan, do you have anything you wanted to bring up on that topic?
I don't know necessarily about game breaking glitches, but I would say there's a couple of mechanics. Maybe not mechanics is the right word, but just like the fact that there's buildings that kids can get on top of that there's no way to get up there except for flying with a helicopter, and like just little stuff like that, or like the fact that you can't mantle over a bunch of the rocks and like you can't get up mountains and you get trapped, and I don't know. There's a lot of different things that like prevent you from getting to places that other kids can just fly to and sit there and win games and kill people without getting punished, you know? Because if there's a team of three on top of a building that you need a helicopter to get to and you snipe one in the face, he's getting revived, all three of them are still alive. It's just stuff like that that needs to be sort of balanced. I think there's a bit of a problem with like the number of buildings you can go on top of and stuff, but you know, the map gets a little awkward once you start cutting random things off or whatever. So I see why they did what they did, but
No, I mean that brings up an interesting topic. Like, so you know how the gas just comes from the outside. What if the gas drops from the top to
Drops.
eliminate those
Yeah.
die buildings?
I have seen some people say some
That's
stuff like
actually
that.
brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah. I,
mean,
I think it would work perfectly.
That's
yeah,
awesome. That's
Um,
actually one of the greatest things I've heard.
I think
'Cause
another thing. Go
a
ahead,
lot of
Wade.
people hate that verticality, and it does screw with end game.
I
Makes
think
it
it adds to the mid game and the beginning of the game just fine because if you do die to something like that, like we talked about, there's a million different ways to get back in. Like if you get cheesed on a death, you get to fight your way back, or your teammates can buy your way back. But if you're losing games because you're not able to reach somebody, that's just not fair.
yeah.
And like, yeah, you could say like, oh, you should have rotated or whatever, but like, I don't know. I
It's
don't
all
want to sit.
random.
I don't want to spend my whole day on top of a building. That's not why I play BRs. So, if
No.
there was a way to, you know, get them to make sure that specific zones can't go on top of the stadium, for example, like if a team is on top of stadium and the final zone is there, anybody on the ground is just going to burn out to the gas and they'll be able to follow the zone in. Or there's a spot that I've lost to twice now, way up in the left corner of the map where there's a cliff that you can fly a helicopter up to and sit there and you can't climb it whatsoever and whoever's up there just gets to win, and it's stuff like that bothers me because it breaks the game, quote unquote.
Mhm.
um, I think mine's kind of it's a small bug, so I can't remember the exact location. I think it's like near these bunkers or something. It's like near the city. I think that's the best way to put it. It's like one of those like green tall buildings in the city where they have a porta potty on the outside and it has like the metal gates up in front of it. And if you stand on top of the porta potty, it seems like the porta potty when you're crouching is higher than the rest of the map, and you basically destroy all of the buildings. Like the buildings become invisible and you can see everything that's inside the buildings. I haven't seen anybody like I haven't seen any people and I haven't seen any weapons, but just being able to um see through the buildings, I think they could easily just patch that out.
Mhm.
There.
It's the first iteration of the BR that we're seeing. We haven't seen any major patches or anything, so
Yeah.
I could see some huge changes coming through, especially with things like the economy that Wade mentioned, but
Mm-hmm.
it all just sort of depends that, they have this idea of what they were going for, and if we know anything about their, public matches and the people complaining about the radar and specific guns being so strong for so long, I could also see them not changing anything. So it's just going to depend on, what they feel they're seeing from the silent majority rather than the outspoken minority.
Yeah, are we thinking another 80 gig update?
Probably.
Let's hope not, but
Yeah,
hey,
knock that out.
something has to change in an 80 gig update, so maybe it's
No,
for
for
the better.
sure.
Maybe sound will be better.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah,
Definitely needs to be some audio improvements.
from what I've played and what I've heard, solos is actually not too bad
In the audio
Oh.
department?
in the audio department. Yep. Just because you don't have so much going on,
Yeah, so
Um,
much gunfire.
I think what happens is that it just kind of gets overloaded, and you aren't able to hear because there's so much going on.
I could see that being the truth. I just think I played multiplayer for the first time today, and I think that there's something drastically different in the way that footsteps function in multiplayer and in the battle royale. The footsteps are way more prominent in the multiplayer, and I think whatever they've got going on in there, if that just made the transition into BR, it'd be perfectly fine. It would
I think
make
it's a
couch walking a little more relevant, not camping per se, but you wouldn't be able to just run up behind people and wipe a whole squad because they didn't hear you.
it's a different beast, though, right? Battle Royale is not it's not multiplayer.
No,
You can't map
No.
your maps a certain way. You can't do this and that.
but if
Yeah.
if anything, I mean, I see what you're saying and the road that we're going down, but audio is more important in a battle royale than it is in multiplayer, in my
Oh,
opinion.
yeah.
when you've got one life, you need a shot at staying alive or saving your team or something. So that's my 2 cents.
Nice, nice. All right. Uh, so this is just a question I just thought about after what we were talking about. So just out of curiosity, do you think it would be beneficial for the devs to have multiple maps like PUBG, or should they make changes to strictly just one map and have it look different, but always be the same map like Fortnite? What would you guys lean towards?
Personally,
Go ahead.
I think that multiple maps would be cool, but I don't see it as a possibility. So as long as they can, you know, do the updates justice and give us maybe seasonal stuff like Blackout did, comparing between the Call of Duty Battle Royales, or even, stuff like Fortnite where add a location, take one out, change the map, this, event, this or that, whatever. I think what they're doing right now is fine. It's super early to tell, but, you know, I'm always open to, the whole 2 map idea, 2, 3 maps. I just think it's hard because, it took them so long to develop this already, and then different maps splits the player base and stuff. Not that 30 million is a small number, but
It's a tiny number, very tiny.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, no, I don't know. The games I play, the biggest one is Apex, and they do have 2 maps, but majority of the time they like just add and destroy things on one map, and then we get a different map. So I'm more for the Fortnite approach, just add and get rid of locations because of certain events throughout whatever happens. So
Yeah, I'd have to go with the one map approach. I mean, if you watch their development cycle for this game, they pushed in like the big lobbies with ground war and to test out the locations and bug fix, and overall just to put out this battle royale, it took what was it, like 4 or 5 months of just testing.
too long is the answer to that question.
Yeah. So
yes, correct. Yeah, too long.
possibly in the future we could see this change, just because they now have all the analytics that they didn't have before. So they'll be able to create things easier. But also we could see that they aren't able to actually push this into another map. Like they need to retest every location and all that stuff. So I think that the one map and then updates to the singular map is definitely the better way to go with this one.
The fact that it's standalone gives me a little hope, but the problem that I think we're going to have is as soon as the new Call of Duty drops, people are going to quit playing because they associate this with the game that's out this year. I don't necessarily know how populated Blackout is, but I know a lot of the big streamers who played Blackout, even after this game came out, are now playing this. So it's just going to depend on what they can do to keep it alive, because if there's not a player base, they're not going to be doing anything huge. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they'll do the one map and just add to it. I feel like that'll give them more free range to be able to add more things and take things out quicker, and to be able to push things out if they are going to want to keep a steady patch rate as we're hoping they are. So that's what I'd hope for.
Yep.
Last question, guys. Last thing I got for you. If there's one thing that you would change or add to Warzone as of right now, what would that be?
I'm going to go with just all the guns, honestly. I would have liked an attachment system like Blackout. I think the loadout idea is cool, but I liked the whole find a gun, get the attachments and whatever, and I know that it kind of puts a little more focus on looting, but in Blackout you could do it fast enough for it to not matter. So I'd just like to see more guns and a change to the loadout. I just think it's going to get stale really fast if you're using the same thing every single game. I've already resorted to using guns that aren't as good as the best ones because I'm bored of shooting the same thing for hours and hours and hours every day.
Yep. Um. So I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast at all. About what I really, really would have wished this game to be. Um. Which was kind of a Tarkov console.
Yes.
Yeah, you can keep going. You pass out mid sentence.
You stroke out, my dude.
Yeah, he had to take a big vape hit right there.
Oh, come on, Wade.
Or his head's
Well,
the computer
I'll
died.
fin. I'll finish. I'll finish the thought for him.
All right, go ahead.
Tarkov has its place, and they saw the success of Blackout with a BR. So I think expecting it or hoping it to be like Tarkov was sort of a far-fetched idea. But I think Tarkov on console would be cool. I just think it's a little too complex for the systems we've got so far.
Yeah, for sure. Like, just watching Tarkov play, hearing my brother talk about how Tarkov plays, watching streamers, there is way too many things going on. Like, I just feel like menu loading would kill the game. Everyone would be like huddled in a menu forever. You back, Wade?
Yeah. Sorry.
Welcome back, Wade. I finished your thought for you, but feel free to expand on what you were saying.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where I got disconnected at.
You stopped after hoping it was Tarkov-ish.
Oh. Yeah. So it'd be cool if it was Tarkov-ish. But I don't think the casual community would appreciate that. And at this point, it's too late for something like that to be a thing, right? They've made their game.
True.
When you got more, go ahead, Wade. I'll finish.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say when when the whole idea of cash was leaked, I was hoping that it was sort of like a whatever cash you win with gets you to a store where you can buy like in BR variants or camos or stuff
Yep.
like that. And that's sort of what I was hoping for. Maybe, different helmets just to make your guy look a little different or, simple stuff like that. I thought that's what the cash was for. So I was a little let down there. If I
That's
was gonna
why
say another thing.
I thought it was gonna be kind of a Tarkov variant, right? Where you load him, and then you get cash, and then you take that cash out, and then you can buy like guns and attachments, or you can use the guns and attachments that you've gotten from previous games in the next run that you go, which would be really cool. But yeah, it's not that.
What about you, Billy?
I don't know. I just feel like they should. Me, I'm a big cosmetic guy. I feel like they should just add more cosmetics that are like earnable in the BR, like certain like weapon skins, certain playable characters that you just like how like Blackout did. Like when Ethan was playing Blackout, he's like, "Oh, I got to do these challenges in Blackout to get this character." I'm like, that's a cool thing. That's like a in-game like trophy. Like, oh, I got this bandana or whatever, and then I got top 3 I have to win the game. I just think that's a thing that I hope gets added because that'd be cool. Like, oh, here's this dope skin that's like, oh, get this many kills, grab this item, and then also win a game against 147 other people. I feel like that'd be a cool iteration, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I think we lost a lot of the cosmetic stuff once they did away with supply drops.
True.
Yeah.
A lot of it's just locked behind a paywall now, which is fine because they're making a lot more money now, which we know from the first quarter of this game. They already had beaten the numbers from last year or whatever the article was that I had read, which is why they're doing this now. But there was a lot of cosmetic stuff that came through supply drops, a lot of camos, a lot of that. A lot of the character variants and stuff, and
The
I
small
think Bill's
stuff.
right. Yeah, I think Bill's right. I just think there's a lot of that missing now. and in-game challenges is a way to add that back. And I think this is 2 games in a row now that we've sort of missed that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
There's daily challenges and weekly challenges, and like the battle pass has its own challenge system, and um, so there's definitely things to grind for, if you want to. Uh, but it's different, and some people are gonna like it, and some people aren't. Like I personally was a really big fan of the new challenge system, where like every day you log on and there's this new challenge that you can do, that requires you to say like get 10 C4 kills, and then you get a little charm for your gun. Um, I used to really like that back when I was grinding multiplayer all the time. Um, but now that my like camo grind is over and all that's done, I kind of just want to play, and there isn't really any rewards for just playing. You
Mm-hmm.
really have to be focused on getting something done while you play in order to get anything. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Okay. My thing is probably never gonna happen, but this is just something I'd like to see, 'cause I think it would be fun. So normally when you're in the first part of the game, I would say at least 20 to 30, maybe even more people die and go straight to the gulag. So you're sitting there waiting to go. I think it would be interesting, just because the area of the big enough, you could cut off the first section and the second section and have, so if you have the 2 long sides, could be um, Gulag 1v1. The first part on the left side could be Gulag 2v2, and the third side could be Gulag 3v3. I just think that'd be something different.
Like if your whole
Rather,
squad dies, then you go in as a 3v3.
yeah.
Bro, be
That'd be
So I mean,
nuts.
it probably
insane.
wouldn't happen, but I think it'd be interesting rather than dies. Now I have to wait for you. I gotta wait for you to die. I wait for this guy to die. This guy won't stop hitting he won't stop fucking punching me, so my screen rattles every time. So now I'm pissed off, and then I get in there and I die. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it'd be funny. I think it'd be fun, a little more entertaining to do 2v2s at least, not 3v3s. At least we do that. It would shake it up a little bit. At least the gulag.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool to see, but I think it'd be too hard to implement because then,
Yeah.
what if there's not 2 people dead on another team? Like,
Yeah, I
how
mean,
that whole thing
there's
goes.
times where I've died and I've sat in the gulag for like 5 minutes, and then it's like, okay, you're free to go, and it's like, all right, well, thanks for fucking nothing. Thanks for putting me in a 5 minute, jail sentence. So I mean, I don't know. That's just something I'd like. But that's all I got for you. Is anything they want to bring up? Anything we didn't talk about?
I just want to shoot a overall positive comment about Warzone, just saying I'm loving the game and it's worth checking out. It's free to play. You got PC, Xbox, PS4. No Nintendo Switch, unfortunately, for you younger little fellas out there, but definitely worth the free to play pickup because I've devoted many hours into the game already, and I don't have the intention of stopping anytime soon. So
For sure.
check it out if
No,
you haven't
yeah.
yet, and keep dropping so I can keep killing you if you are not playing.
Yeah, and
Damn.
and you Nintendo kids, pick up Warface. It's free.
Yeah.
Same
true.
thing, multiplayer though. There you go.
There you go.
Do you guys got anything else you want to say for Warzone?
Yeah, just overall good. Um, skill-based matchmaking makes it really nice for anyone who wants to jump in. Um, I know we talk about how skill-based matchmaking is kind of rough, but we play all the time, right? We're Call of Duty bred kids.
True.
So like I hate to say it, but we're kind of on that upper skill-based matchmaking area. I hate to shameless plug and brag about myself, but fucking so that top top 20%, top 30% of players are going to be have not as good of a time with it, but definitely new players who jump in are not going to be at the same level as like people that you might watch on YouTube, like Shroud.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a fun experience.
For sure.
You got anything, Billy?
I don't really not got too much. Just it's this good battle royale. Like my first like 2 games I played, I thought it was very simple and easy to get a hold of. The armor system was like, I think it needs to be tweaked a little bit, but it's easy. It's like, okay, I got 3 plates of armor and I can hold 5. Doesn't affect my inventory. Ammo pickup is automatic. I don't have to sit there and sift through it like in Apex, which is really annoying because sometimes I pick up too much ammo. But in Warzone, it's just like, okay, you pick up what you have. You can pick up a little bit extra. So if I drop my AR, I have shotgun ammo and I pick up a shotgun. Cool. That's basically what I got for it.
All right, yeah. I mean, keep doing what you're doing and don't fuck it up. That's pretty much all I got for you.
True.
Oh, just don't fuck it up. But all right, guys. Yeah, that's all we got. We'd like to thank Ethan for stopping in with us today. Definitely, we got some more Warzone shit. We'll definitely give you a holler. See if you want to come back.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I could
Yeah, man. No,
sit and
no
talk
problem.
COD all day.
Hell
No
yeah.
problem. If you guys haven't already, check out our Twitter page. We also have a website you can check out. It's got a lot of crazy stuff on there. You can also shoot us a message or an email or anything like that and respond back to you. We got a couple different platforms you can listen to us on, Spotify, YouTube, and we just recently got put on the platform Podbean. So check that out. And also we have a Patreon. If you feel like helping us out, it would be really appreciated. Pretty much what you'd be paying for is helping us get unlimited storage on our platforms, because right now we're pretty much limited. So we can only put out as much as they'll let us.
True.
But thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Have a great night, guys.
See you later.